Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Random Episode. This is the podcast where we watch a random episode of a TV show from a random series that neither of us have watched before. I'm Varun.
And I'm Christie.
As always, thank you, Lord Jesus, for our amazing intro song. So this week, we are talking about the Later Daters, Season 1, Episode 2. You Are on a Roll. This one aired rather recently, November 29th, 2024, on Netflix. The episode summary from IMDb says, Pam's colorful past keeps her from looking to the future. Dwayna's jaw drops when Anise unpacks her date, and Logan tells Suzanne to toss out her playbook. All right. So, Christy, what did you know about the show before watching it?
Well, I actually knew a lot about this show. This is on my to-watch list. And since it just came out kind of recently, I'm like, oh, perfect timing for us to watch this for our podcast. But some of my podcasts that I listen to that cover a lot of reality TV have been mentioning that they're watching it and that they liked it. So I've heard just a little bit of some positive feedback about the show. And I also knew that it was really about like older people dating, like a dating reality show for older people, a la like Golden Bachelor and Golden Bachelorette, which is my forte as well. So I had a lot of context and kind of knew what to expect with this one. What about you?
For me, again, reality TV show, not my forte, really. But this it pops up. Netflix is promoting this one hardcore. So every time I open up Netflix, this was like one of the top shows to watch and suggested for you.
Yeah, of course.
Even though I don't even think we watch, my wife and I
that's
even
interesting.
watch a reality TV show on Netflix.
That's interesting that it popped up for you.
I take that back because my wife does watch
Love is Blind.
Love is Blind.
Of course. So yeah.
That's why the algo is pushing this on us.
I was going to say, I mean, it has to know that Love is Blind watchers would love this as well.
Yes, that's 100% why. And I've seen it, again, that way. And Golden Bachelor, I think I watched a couple episodes of that. Yeah. It was rather, it was cute. Show. But is there season 2 already out of Golden Bachelor?
So there was a Golden Bachelor and then there was a Golden Bachelorette. So both of those have already happened.
Okay.
So I don't know, like I guess this is like the prime time for watching older people date on television.
I mean, good for them.
I'm into
good
it.
for them.
I don't hate it.
If we can all get entertainment from it, why not?
I know. Well, and did you know who the executive producer of the show is?
Michelle Obama.
Okay. Did you already know that? Or
no,
did
I did
you
not
just
know.
Okay, yeah. So that's kind of how it's been marketed as well. It's like, this is a Michelle Obama production.
Oh, that's so fascinating.
Yeah.
Like, why is Michelle Obama just like, this is her jam? She's really into reality TV show for,
I guess,
people her age.
I mean, she wants a fun passion project right now. What else has she got going on?
I guess so.
Sounds great. Sounds like a great life to just be able to like produce fun reality shows. I love it. But yeah, so I did know about that. And I've said this before, Netflix is so good at making shows. Like they're so good at making reality television and shows in general. So usually, I don't know, I don't think, for me at least, you can't miss with a Netflix reality show. So,
I agree.
yeah, so I was excited to watch it.
Yeah. All right, so let's hop into it, shall we? So, Christy, how about you just give us a summary of what this show's about?
Yeah, so one interesting thing, and I don't know if you picked up on this, is that it takes place all in one city. So they're all based in Atlanta.
Yeah,
Did you pick up on that as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is something that Netflix does really well, is what they do when they do reality. They often have them all based in the same geographic location, which is honestly really smart because then it's not hard for them to like date and like picture a life together and all of that. So Love is Blind does that. The Ultimatum kind of does that. So it's all happening in Atlanta, and it's all about these people. I want to say they're probably all 50s, 60s, 70s.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's an official
think the youngest
age.
Was 56.
Yeah. So I think it's like maybe 50 plus. So kind of seniors, I guess.
Right.
All wanting to date again. And so then we see the dating coach, Logan. So she, I'm assuming, is a big part of the show, who kind of like gives the advice, and she's the one kind of setting them up. So we just kind of watch her help set up these different seniors. And again, I hate kind of like using the word senior. When I think about seniors, I don't know, I picture like 70s and 80s. Like these
Right.
people are not that old.
They're not
but
that old.
They're in their golden years, as the Golden Bachelor and Bachelorette would say.
I
But
don't even know if this that's the golden years. Is that the golden years?
I don't know.
I with senior and golden years, that's where I associate with.
Yeah.
Maybe just because our parents are in this
In like the 60s.
generation.
Yeah.
That's why I don't see it that way. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
jaded in that sense, but no, I just think these as, I don't know, boomers or just
Yeah. Especially the people in their 50s. Like, well, and we can get into it, but like some of them look real young.
they look really young.
Well, and that's
Yeah.
the same thing that happened on Golden Bachelorette in particular. Like one of the men this season was allegedly like 60. He honestly could have passed for 30. Like
Really?
he looked amazing. So
Oh
some of these
my
people,
God.
like they legit look so good, even though in theory, apparently they're supposed to be in their 50s and 60s. But yeah, I don't know. So like Golden Bachelorette, she was early 60s, and most of the men were in their 60s, whereas Golden Bachelor, he was, I think, in his 70s.
Yeah, he was in his 70s.
And a lot of them were in their 70s as well. So I don't know, but I do kind of get the sense that this show definitely has 50s, 60s. And then I think Pam
was
that
our
70.
yes. She was 70. She was the oldest we had on this episode.
Yeah. Well, and then the other part that seems like the premise of the show is they all kind of have somebody like their partner in crime, like their daughter or like a
Right.
friend who's kind of like with them on this journey. So a lot of them you see their daughter or their granddaughter or somebody who's trying to like help them learn how to date, which is also like, this is why it's kind of fun watching these golden type shows, is because these people haven't dated in like 40 years. And
Yeah.
so like they have to learn how to date now. So
Yes.
it's pretty entertaining.
Yeah, and we can get into it with one of these people and what Logan says about them.
Yeah.
Our love consultant
Yes.
says. But yeah, this is pretty much how it goes. We're following a bunch of folks that are between their 50s and 70
Yeah.
as they are trying to reintroduce themselves to the dating life or just find a lifetime partner in
Yeah.
hot Atlanta.
In Atlanta,
place is
or
waxed.
the rural outskirts of Atlanta, which we'll get into that as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who do you want to talk about first?
Let's go with Nate. I like Nate.
Okay.
That's also goes by age too, since he was the youngest.
Oh,
at
yeah.
56.
Okay. 56. Yeah.
Yeah. So it looks like Nate, his person that he talks to and unwinds with about his relationships is his ex-girlfriend, actually.
Yeah. I found that interesting that that's
Yeah.
like his buddy that he goes to talk about all of this, which is
Yeah,
nice.
which is fine.
Glad they're still friends.
Good for them. And he talks about, I guess he's already been on a date. Maybe this must have happened in the
Season
first,
1. Yeah. Or sorry, episode 1. Yeah.
Yeah. And he just talking about how, it looked like it was going well. And they keep showing flashbacks for us. But I guess he went on a date with this woman. Because his checklist is she's got to be educated, never been married, never had kids.
Yeah.
But then he wants someone who's kind of religious, but not super religious.
Yeah.
And in these flashbacks, when they were showing flashbacks, just like clips from the first date,
Yeah.
she did look beautiful. She looked
yeah, for
gorgeous,
sure.
and I guess he checked all of her
Yes.
check boxes.
Yes.
But I don't know. I guess for some reason, just because he's afraid that she's too religious.
Yeah, it was a
in his mind.
mismatch in terms of their religious devotion, right?
Yeah.
I love how he calls himself the CNE Christian. I was just talking about this with like my family, the Christmas and Easter. So and I also liked he used the term sometimey Christian. He's like,
Sometimey
I'll go to
Christian.
church
Yeah.
sometimes, but I appreciate that he kind of called that out as a mismatch, right? Like if one of you is like super devoted and like wants to be in church all the time, which he kind of got the impression that she did, and he's more of a quote unquote sometimey Christian. I mean, there's a mismatch there, and I don't know. Maybe they could have made it work, but
I think he can make it work,
He wasn't
'cause-
trying to make it work.
And it's couple by couple, person by person, right? Like, the church that I go to, because we do go to church, more often, and there are people there who go by themselves with their kids, and their partner doesn't come.
Yeah,
the partner
that's true.
comes on the CNE
Yeah.
days or the
Yeah.
high holidays.
Yeah.
Is when they actually show up, but if both people are okay with that and
Yeah.
the expectations aren't there, then it can work.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he just kind of was looking for a reason to say no to
I
this
think
woman,
so.
which we can also get into like his next date. Also, I just feel like he's kind of looking for reasons to like say no to people. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I agree.
Like, I don't know if he really actually wants to do this.
And
Nate.
it's just tough. I can't imagine. God, I hope this doesn't happen to either of us, that we are at this point in this age and we do have to go out there and start dating again.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine, right? Because you can't teach an old dog new tricks, right? So
Yeah.
I feel like at that point, with, you've already spent most of your life, you are probably in the mindset of like, I need someone perfect.
Yeah,
For the
because you're
rest-
not
just
about
for the
to
rest of my life
change.
with. Yeah,
And
exactly.
and I'm not changing. I am who I am, and I
Exactly.
need them to be who I want them to be.
And I feel like it's gonna be a
Yeah.
common. I feel like that's gonna be a common theme, probably throughout the show.
Yeah, I could see that as well.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so Nate, that date didn't work out for him, so he's gonna get set up with Anise. But we got to talk about Anise's first date.
We gotta talk about Anis's first date. So the episode opens with the and Netflix loves to do this, right? With
Oh,
shows
of
and dating
course.
shows, right? Where at the end of an episode, we give you a cliffhanger
Of course.
of what's going on. So and then the next episode picks up, and then they pick up where that's how they get
This
you.
is how they get you, and then the next episode plays in 5 seconds. You don't have
Yes,
time to turn it off.
exactly.
And they just hook you. You have to keep
Classic.
watching. I mean, this is why I've been binging Netflix shows all for the last week and a half.
Tale as old as time. But I guess Anise, who is 62. Yes, he's 62.
I can't believe that. She looks incredible.
She looks amazing.
She looks like she's my age. I don't know, maybe even younger. Like, she looks so good. Like, her and her daughter, genuinely, I know people say this, but they genuinely look like sisters.
They could
like,
be
I
sisters,
do not
yes.
know the difference between them when she's in the
Yes.
room with her daughter, who's probably our age.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she looks incredible.
So the episode picks up with her date that she's on with a guy named George. And the first line out of George's mouth, because I guess he's coming back from the table from going somewhere,
Yeah,
bathroom,
bathroom,
whatever.
yeah.
And he goes, I like watching you walk out. And she makes a face. And I guess this is a common theme, because I guess George is just a creep.
He's a creep. They showed a lot of flashbacks to their date of him just referencing, I don't know, looks, her body,
Yeah.
just like gross stuff. And I guess he's supposed to be in his 60s too.
I guess so.
I don't know. And then he says that she looks quote unquote ghetto
Yes.
and that he likes that. Well, we should also note they are both black. So I don't know if that provides context for him calling her ghetto, but she did not like that comment,
No,
which
she
I
did not.
understand why. That was completely like gross. And I don't know, the way he used it was,
Because her breakdown happens with her daughter.
yeah.
And the daughter also did not like
No.
that part. Because I guess in George's mind, he wants a woman who is going to be, as you said, ghetto. And for him, that means putting on a blonde wig.
It's so gross. Yeah, he was describing like if you wear that blonde wig, like you'll look all ghetto.
And it's
Oh
deep
my
down
God.
inside you. You just got to bring it out.
It's so gross.
Oh,
like just
yeah.
totally like objectifying and just like falling into different stereotypes. And he just seems gross. Like,
Yeah.
is he somebody's grandfather?
Well, as he said he has one kid that he knows about.
Oh yeah.
And he was talking about how he's, fucked around.
Oh yeah, he
in
did. He literally used the term
Houston or
he
some of that, or
fucks, he
someplace.
fucks around in Atlanta or
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. It's like, oh,
Oh,
my-
and then I wrote this down. He asked her if all of her kids were from the same dad.
Oh.
Like, it's like the things that he said. Oh, he asked her if she had any work done. Like,
Oh,
looking at, because
yes.
she looks amazing.
Yes, exactly.
But just like, you don't ask that.
on a
I don't
first
know.
date.
It was so wild. And yeah, her daughter is real pissed because she's like, I do have blonde wigs and I look amazing in that.
That
And I
does
was
not
like,
make me
"Good for you."
ghetto.
Like, good on you.
Oh my God.
I know. So yes, the date with George was a no-go. And I love how she gets out of it by just being like, "Oh, looks like my Uber's here.
Yes.
Gotta go. Bye."
Yeah.
So amazing. I loved that for her.
It was so good. And yeah.
Yikes. Yeah.
So the daughter and her both decide he's next. On to the next one.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So now she's going to get set up with Nate, who we've
Yes.
already talked about.
The
Yeah.
next one is Nate. And so they go on a date. We get to see this date. And Nate looking really good.
Yeah,
in
they
a
both looked
suit.
amazing. Yeah.
She looks great. She's
Yeah.
wearing a
Like
jumper,
a jumpsuit. She looked
yeah.
great. Yeah.
And he shows up with flowers, yellow flowers.
I thought this was
Good
going to go
job.
well.
Exactly. I feel like
looks good to
Netflix is in this up too. Like this is gonna be it. This is
Yeah.
gonna. We're going to see one, but as we come to find out, they're just two different people. She's all about traveling and seeing the world and all kinds of just living life to the fullest.
Yeah.
And he at the age of, and she's also, mind you, 62 and he's 56, 6-year gap.
Yeah.
But he is, as he says, he's a homebody.
Yeah.
And he just wants to stay at home, and also it's for reasons that are health related.
Yeah, because he got injured in the military, and so
like
he
his
can
back
barely, he could barely
knee.
walk. Yeah. So it is just a mismatch, and I think he really disliked that she was older than him.
I think so.
Like, he did not get over the fact that he's 56 and she's 62, which again, she looks like 37. Like, she looks amazing. So, like, it's such bullshit to me that, he was gross. Yeah.
And her personality in
she
lifestyle
acts young. Yes.
She acts much younger than him.
Yes. Like, this is a classic, like, age is just a number. She is nowhere near looking and acting like your typical 62-year-old. So I honestly just think he couldn't get past that, which, again, with his first date and this date, I think he just picks one thing and he just like won't get past it.
Yeah.
And he's looking for a reason to say no.
But also notice that the dates that we saw in this episode, the women were all older than the men. Yeah. So
That's interesting.
yeah, and I think this is probably this sometimes works out from what we see from this episode.
Yeah.
It does work out, and sometimes it doesn't work out for a variety of reasons. And for this one, I agree. I think Nate could not get over that age.
Yeah. So I don't know. At the end of the day, both of them said like it was a good date, but it's a mismatch. Again, like for Anise, it's because they have different lifestyles. And for Nate, it really just seems like it's about age.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like, I don't know. I don't think this is going to work for Nate. I don't foresee it. I don't foresee him. And maybe things will change in the rest of the season, but I don't foresee good things for Nate.
I think at the end of this season, he's still going to be alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I hope for Anise. I really love her. She seems just like such a bright, positive, awesome. Like she has a doctorate. Like she just like has literally everything going for her. Like she's extremely intelligent. She's active. She's fun. She's beautiful. Like all the full package. So I really hope she finds like somebody really great.
She's a doctor, man.
Like literally, she's literally the full package. And her daughter seems awesome. Like I just hope I hope the best for her. I want the best for her. But yeah, that was kind of the Nate Anise story of all of this.
So let's then move on to Suzanne.
Yeah, we got to talk about Suzanne.
She's the second person that we meet. She's 63. Mm-hmm. And she went on a date with a guy named Frank. Mm-hmm. That must have happened in the first episode.
Yeah.
And it seemed like for her that things were going well and that Frank was fine. But it's weird. She said she just wasn't ready to throw her hat in.
Yeah.
And again, I think she was older than Frank, I think. But she said that Frank had younger children.
Oh, yeah. Which I can understand if you are like, you already have kids out of the house. Like, you're kind of past that point, and the person you're dating has kids who are, like, still in high school or college. Like, I'm not trying to do that again. Like, I think, to me, that's a reasonable deal breaker, honestly.
Yeah.
So,
and I think what it was is that Frank was like Nate. Because she said she thinks Frank likes younger women.
Oh,
which is
yes.
why he has younger children.
Yes.
So I think that's probably why it didn't work out.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, so I don't know. Suzanne, I just wrote down she is wild. Like she's got very strong accent, like very strong Georgia girl. She's just wild. And I also feel like she is just not maybe ready to seriously date people. I think she just wants to have fun, which is fine.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like she wants to be serious.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think she's enjoying the dating lifestyle.
She likes the attention.
Yeah.
Like she likes, I mean, she's clearly very like social and extroverted. Right. Like she just wants to like have a fun conversation and a fun meal and laugh, which, you know, all more power to her.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just don't know how serious she's going to be.
Because she goes on a date with Avery, a gentleman who is 59 years old, divorced, has 3 kids, and he has the cheesiest line is that when she walks in, they say hi, and he goes, "Next week's my birthday, and my present came early."
Oh, God. This is such like a classic boomer line, though. Don't you feel like?
Yes.
I don't know. He was just like such a classic, like older white male. Like, I don't know, just like boomer white man, like very classic. Let's talk about college sports.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, he seemed very lovely. I
He
really did
seemed
like
fine.
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought they had a good connection. They had a fun conversation about college football and
Yes, their
I don't know,
rivalries.
Alabama versus Georgia.
Which is a big rivalry.
I don't pay attention to that.
It's a big rivalry. Yeah.
I just assumed it was a big deal. So that was like cute. I don't know. I thought they were kind of a fun match so far.
Yeah. And they seem to. We find out a little bit about her past husband. I guess he used to work for some Medtronic, some company named that, which I
Yeah,
think is a
must be a big
medical
Atlanta
supply
thing.
company. Yeah. But that was actually my favorite. One of my favorite parts about this show was trying to pick up the nuggets about people's past relationships
Yeah.
and marriages and whatever, and try to get a
Does
better
it-
understanding.
Does it say if she's divorced or widowed?
I don't
I
recall.
didn't pick up on that. And I couldn't get a sense because she said, like, oh, my husband, not like my ex husband. So it gave me the vibe that maybe she's a widow. I don't know. But I was really intrigued by that as well.
Yeah, trying to find out if they're divorced, widowed, and so on. It's great.
Yeah. But she obviously, like, at least, you know, had been married. And then her daughter is the one who is kind of her like partner in all of
Yes.
this. And her daughter comes to pick her up from the date. And her daughter's like, I don't know, they seem to have a really cute, like fun relationship as well, her and her daughter.
They do, because I guess the daughter met Frank from the first date, and then she's coming here to pick up her mom, to for the second date, which is it's just so funny about how these flip roles, right? Like when we're
Yeah.
dating as teenagers, our parents pick us up, and so that they can meet
Yeah.
the boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. And now in this situation, it's for the approval, the daughter's got to come. So I
Yeah.
thought that was very fascinating.
I will say that's one of the fun things about the Golden Bachelor and Bachelorette compared to normal Bachelor and Bachelorette. Like when it's, 20 something year olds and they're meeting the parents and like the dads are always so intimidating and they like take it so seriously and they're like, are you ready to make this commitment to my daughter? And like just so kind of like negative and like not friendly about it. Whereas in Golden, they're just like, hey, here's my grandkids. Like, welcome to the family. Just
Yeah.
like everybody is just more like flexible and chill and I don't know, just like open and happy because they're like, yay, my mom is dating. Like, we're
Yeah.
all so excited.
So happy grandma's getting out of the house.
Yeah, like it's just like such a, I don't know, that's one of the things for all the like, things that maybe aren't as great about like Golden Bachelor, Bachelorette. It is really fun that they're just like excited for their family member to be dating.
Yep.
And so I thought that was fun with this as well as you see like the kids or the grandkids
Right.
kind of like wanting them to do this. So that's nice. I do think about like obviously for both of us, like our parents are still alive and they're still married. So I don't know what it would be like to
I don't know.
to like go through that as the kid and have your parents dating. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
But
Do we know? I don't know if we know anyone. I can't think of anyone that I know whose parents, one of their parents is out there dating. Off the top of my head.
That's
Do you
a good
know of
question.
anyone?
One of our friends, like their parents remarried, so like they did have to like meet and date.
Oh,
and I
yes.
think her mom like met him through the apps.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I think that like I don't know, they were like out there doing apps as older
Oh,
people
that's right,
and
yeah.
then ended up getting married. So yeah, but that's the only one I can think of. But others, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of parents out there right now
If
doing
anyone
the
out
dating.
there listening,
Yeah,
your
let us know what it's
parents, or
like.
you are, in this generation and are dating, feel free to write us. But yeah, and so we'll see. So it sounds like Avery wants to get to know Suzanne, wants to go on a second date, asked for her number, and she
Yeah.
agreed. So looks like
Yeah.
they're going to move forward.
And the issue is that Suzanne is trying to do like hard to get and like
Yes,
so Logan
yes.
calls her out as like you are using these moves from 40 years ago, like you can't play hard to get, you just need to tell him, right? Because he even asked her on the date like, hey, can I see you again? And she's like, I don't know, maybe. And Logan's like, you can't do that, like you have to be straight up and say yes, I want to date you. So this is what I don't know how serious she is, or maybe it's just that she's using outdated tactics.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up. I forgot
Yeah.
about that. And I really like that part, how Logan brought that up.
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause again, I can't even imagine the tactics that I had no tactics, let alone would I have any tactics if I were to go out dating. But
Yeah.
compared to what's like in the current world, as Logan says, the dating consultant, that you have to be straightforward. You can't be playing games.
Yeah, yeah. I'm also so intrigued by Logan, the dating coach, that is, I guess, the kind of backbone behind this show. You know, I want to know how she got this job. Like, is she a famous dating coach? I don't know. Like, are there famous dating coaches out there? I don't know. I don't know a lot about that. I will say on some podcasts that I listen to, they talk about like dating and relationships, and they'll bring on people who are kind of like app experts. Like there are people out there that are like will help you, you know, like you pay them and they help you make your profile look better and like make you more appealing on the apps and will like guarantee you more dates. Like there are people whose jobs are to do this.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And
I don't know how you do that though.
If this being season 1, if Logan is going to be, if there are going to be more seasons of this show, is Logan going to be that recurring consultant, or is she the Atlanta-based season 1 consultant? I'd be interested to see what happens with the following seasons.
Well, it does make me think about, because you also watched Indian matchmaking.
I did watch Indian matchmaking.
Yeah, and so it's always like those all revolve around the same matchmaker. It's, I guess, kind of like a similar vibe where it's like Seema, Auntie, or whatever they call her, is like the matchmaker that's setting up all these dates. Like I think in this show, that's kind of Logan's role. So yeah, I don't know. Like, is the show going to continue to revolve around her for future seasons? That's a good question.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I liked her.
I liked her too.
Like I liked the things she said.
She didn't seem fake to me, which I think was my favorite part about Logan. Was she seemed genuinely interested in helping these people, obviously for money and for Netflix fame.
Yeah.
But she definitely seemed to be knowledgeable and knew her stuff and wanted to help these people, which was great.
Yeah. And you know who is the biggest challenge for Logan? God, when she meets Pam. I can't. Like, just, Logan, what are you going to do with Pam?
When we meet Pam, it starts off like she seems nice. And we find out her story. So Pam is our oldest one. She's 70 years old, and she seems pretty normal. Maybe she just seems like a 70-year-old woman who lives by herself. She's a grandma. She lives with her granddaughter.
Yeah.
She took over custody for her granddaughter when she was in 5th or 6th grade. She said,
she's young. Yeah.
But then as the story goes on, we learn more. We find out that she met her first husband. He was in a rock band, and when they met, he invited her to go to London with her, and her family said, no, don't do it. But she did it anyway. And 1 year later, she had a son, and she definitely seems as if in her prime, she was a fly by the seat of your pants type person.
And like a rock band groupie.
Yes.
Like basically implies that she hung out with the Beatles. Like, I don't know. I just feel like she's implying that she was really big in like the rock band scene in the 60s, 70s.
Yes.
Yeah. She's wild.
She is
so
wild.
She lives in a house that's like rural outskirts of Atlanta, I guess.
Some like an hour outside of Atlanta.
Yeah. And she has lots of animals, a lot of birds.
A lot of dogs, very cute dogs. I love that.
It's just her and I guess her granddaughter who lives with her now, and a lot of birds and dogs and animals that keep her company.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
And she...
Oh gosh, Pam.
She comes across as wanting to be worldly. I think she talks a big game, but I don't think... When she says that she has all these books about Shakespeare, but she's never read any of them, I was like, oh, okay.
And honestly, Logan diagnoses her so quickly and really accurately of like, you are living in the past.
Right.
Like your entire house is a shrine to your past life. And all you want to talk about is your past stories, and you gotta stop. Like you can just tell Logan's like, we're done.
Yeah. And the term she used was ghost stories.
Yeah. Yes.
Which we were watching this with one of our children. And she was like, what does she mean, ghost stories? Like, I mean, just means that she talks about the past a lot. But,
oh my gosh. When I do love how when Logan's giving her advice, she's like, don't tell ghost stories on your date. Like, it's just so funny. I just love how she's like, oh God. But I don't know. Like, I don't know if this is the type of person that Logan would normally encounter, or if this is just for the show. They found this like cuckoo woman and they're like, good luck, Logan. And she just has to figure it out. But she's so professional about it, but she's just like, oh no.
But Netflix just loves finding these quote unquote characters for these
Oh my
shows, these
God.
reality shows. People like this.
I'm impressed that I don't know, I wonder if her granddaughter signed her up, right? Because like they do casting. You have to go through a process to find these people. It must have been through her granddaughter.
100%. She
Yeah.
didn't know how to use her phone, how to silence her
Oh,
phone.
yeah.
This was not her signing up
She
herself.
did say that's true. She was like, we just got internet out here like last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't know how to use her phone. Yeah, that's true. Okay. And her granddaughter does seem a lot more like her granddaughter's probably in her 20s. Yeah, so she seemed like much more with it, but she is just she's a character.
We have to bring up how she had a second husband that
Oh,
she was
yeah.
married to for 21 years.
Yeah.
And then, but he passed away
Yeah.
15 years ago.
Right. So it's been like 15 years since she's been with anyone.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, it's just tragic because the first
It's sad.
as we find out because she tells the person she goes on a date with that her first husband died because he fell asleep with a cigarette in his hand and burned their house down. And then the second one died from the cancer or something.
Yeah, yeah. It does make, I know this is like morbid to think about, but you do wonder, like, you know, if your spouse passes away and you're only in your 50s, like, are you going to live for 30, 40 more years alone? Like, I don't know. It just seems sad.
That seems very sad.
That's why I don't know. That's one of the reasons I really appreciate these types of shows is because it is people being like, no, I still have so much time left. And like, these are my best years. I have all this money. Like I can travel.
Yeah.
I don't know. It does make me think about that. Like, oh my gosh, like what would you do? I don't know.
I don't know.
I feel like you have to remarry at some point. If you're like young, I don't know. I wouldn't want to be alone the rest of my life.
She just wants someone to live life with. And I think that's
Yeah.
probably what all of us would want. We just want a partner.
That's true.
I don't even know if I would want to remarry.
That's true. You don't have to like remarry.
I don't know if I would want to remarry. I just wanted someone to
Yeah.
just be there with. Have a friend, have that companionship to
Yeah.
do stuff with.
That's the annoying thing about the Bachelor series is they just push marriage so hard. And even for the Goldens, well, I don't know. I'm sure everybody's heard by now about like the Golden Bachelor, how they got married in like 2 months and then got divorced like 2 months later.
Yeah,
like
yeah. Even I
it
heard
was
that,
just,
yeah.
it's very common. It's very pop culture right now. But it's like they didn't need to get married.
Yeah,
right? Like
exactly.
that just makes it extra messy. And then the latest Bachelorette, they got engaged. I'm just like, maybe don't get married. Like you don't need to.
Jen
Just
Tran.
no, the Golden Bachelorette.
Golden
No,
Bachelorette. I heard about Bachelorette.
Jen's season ended terribly, but the
Yes.
Golden Bachelorette, she had a very nice ending, but they got engaged, and it's like, I don't know, you don't need to do that. Just like
Yeah.
live your life together.
I wish that these shows. Well, this show I don't think is gonna force marriage on anyone.
Right, which I
Yeah.
appreciate.
Not like the quote unquote reality shows of Golden Bachelor. And
Yeah.
The Bachelorette and everything like that.
I can't believe you just put quotes around The Bachelor. Like it's a fake
Quote-
show.
Quote unquote around reality. Oh, come on now. Come on now.
They're so real.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. But I will say, I mean, I know we're now digressing, but this show, the other thing I like is these are genuinely like real people. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, a lot of the younger dating shows, by now, a lot of them are just trying to be famous and trying to be like Instagram celebrities.
Right.
But with this, I don't know, I could tell at least, my hunch was these are like legit, just people who want to try this and want to date and they're not trying to be famous, and which I appreciate.
Which I like, which is why shows like Indian Matchmaking, those
Yeah.
reality dating shows, and the other one I've talked about before, Married at First Sight.
Yeah.
Some of them on there are probably trying to be famous, but
Yeah.
it seems as if these people are trying to find love. They're trying to get married. They're
Yeah.
trying these methods.
Yeah. When I will say, even the early seasons of Love is Blind, before anybody knew it was going to be a huge hit, like those were just real people just genuinely trying. Like, I don't think they were trying to be famous, which is why later seasons have just gotten a little more ridiculous because like now it is people trying to be famous.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why like the early seasons of a lot of these Netflix shows are, in my opinion, really nice because it is just people like genuinely trying to date, like
Exactly.
actually trying to do this and not just here for fame. But okay, sorry, we digress. Back to Pam and her date.
And her date.
Oh no.
So Pam goes on a date with Robert. And Robert seems like a genuinely
He
just
seems
nice
so
guy.
nice.
Yeah. But spoiler alert, this date does not go well. And because Pam, she shows up, I think she just gets wasted. I think she gets drunk. I think in
I
her
don't think she was
nervousness-
even drinking. I thought she was sober.
Really? I thought she was drinking.
Oh, I thought she was just drinking
She
water.
always had no, she had like a drink in her hand.
Oh, did okay. I mean, I don't know.
And whatever happened, she could not stop talking.
Oh my God. She
About
was saying all the
everything.
things. She just kept going on and on and on about everything.
Key points are, we know that she was a flight attendant for a private jet company,
Which
she just recently retired from.
and she keeps saying how she like signed confidentiality agreements, so she
Yeah.
shouldn't be saying any of this. And you're saying it on television. Like we're all hearing this right now. So hopefully that didn't actually break any of her contracts.
I mean, she's a 70-year-old woman.
That's true. She's like, I don't
care.
understand and I don't care. But yeah, so again, she's implying that like she's been around all these famous people. Like she was a flight attendant for some private, like rich people
Right.
airline. So she like knows all these famous rich people.
But
Or, like,
she's not rich.
Well,
She
clear.
has no money because she drops that comment to Robert.
yeah.
And yeah, everything she talks about TikTok. She talks about Spotify for some reason, and everything, and movie sequels, and she's just so negative.
Everything is so negative. And then she clearly is very politically, economically, like she has a lot of opinions that like
Yes.
are probably not founded in a lot of reality. And when Robert's like, I have an economics degree. And she's like, oh,
And she's like, I'm gonna love you, and then that's it.
no.
And Robert's whole thing, and poor Robert, he even says to the side camera, when they're interviewing him, Pat first, he goes, just to be clear, I hope you all saw, I asked her a lot of questions because I was truly interested in her and her life. She didn't ask me a single question, and
know.
he even like stops her to be like, do you want to know anything about me? You don't know anything about me. It
know.
was
He just seemed like such a sweet, like genuine person who was genuinely trying so hard to have a good date.
yeah.
And then he just got fed up because she was crazy. Like she just like went off the
Yeah.
rails on so many things. And he just like had no option other than to confront her and just be like, what is happening here? Like, you need to talk to me.
Exactly.
I don't know.
And
I feel so bad for him.
And that's how our episode ended.
Yeah. And
our
it was kind of
cliffhanger.
cliffhangery, I guess, because we don't like know how the date ended.
Well, I
Well,
do.
oh.
Because, again,
Okay.
damn you, Netflix. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, got you. Next episode started. We're like, okay, let's just see how this one ends. So,
Oh my God, Varun broke the rules of our podcast.
sorry, everybody. I'm
because
sorry.
He needed to know what happened with Pam and Robert. Well, don't spoil it for me because I probably will go on and actually watch it
okay, fine.
now that we've podcasted about it
Well,
at the appropriate time.
I won't bring up the wedding bells then for Pam and Robert.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, we can definitely tell that it's not going to end well. But I don't know. Pam, I don't know who possibly could be a partner for her. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Mind you, again, I'm trying to put myself in her shoes. And if this is my first date that I've gone on in 35,
Yeah.
40 years, maybe, I would probably be a nervous wreck.
That's true. You're rusty. You don't really know. And also, she doesn't seem like she talks to any humans very
True.
often at all, other than her granddaughter.
And her
Like,
dogs.
genuinely, she doesn't live near or with humans.
True.
Doesn't seem like she's retired, so she doesn't have to interact at work. She genuinely, I don't think, talks to humans ever. So I understand why this is a struggle for her, and I don't foresee a positive outcome.
At least not in this season.
Not in this season. Maybe she'll be back. But she's really entertaining. Netflix got a great cast member for this one. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Good work, granddaughter, for nominating your grandmother. It's very entertaining. I don't know.
I don't know.
I can't foresee a positive ending. I hope Robert finds somebody, though. He seems so nice.
He seemed like I don't know if he seemed so nice.
Yeah.
I don't know if a so nice person would be calling her out for like not saying, like not wanting to know anything about me, or
Maybe. Okay.
he seemed a little snarky.
Yeah,
to
that's
me.
true.
He might be single for a while too.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't know if we'll see them again. I don't know. And it's like, this is the type of show too, where I don't know, we're clearly not going to follow every single person. So I think like people like Robert are just kind of coming in and out. Whereas to me, it seems like Pam and Suzanne and Anise and maybe Nate are like
Maybe
truly like the people being followed.
Right.
So we'll see what happens with them.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my
It was fascinating. It was fascinating.
This is what Netflix is great at.
I
They show
know.
you, social experiments. They show you the inner workings of relationships. It's so interesting.
Yeah.
And they put it all together in a beautiful, shiny, pretty package with amazing cinematography.
And
This is what they do.
And spoiler alert, these are the types of dating reality shows that I love.
Yeah.
I enjoy these
Yeah.
because there's interesting stories from different. They're similar to Indian matchmaking, right? It's something different way of dating,
Yeah.
different way of finding love, and a different way that I found love or anything like that. So I get drawn to this because I want to learn more about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Same. No, I mean, I also watch all the other trashy types of reality as well. So I won't say this is the only type of show I like.
Any and
but I do
all
enjoy it.
past love you are interested in.
I mean, as we've talked about before, I'll watch dating shows. I'll watch Bravo Housewives shows. Really, I don't know. You can't go wrong for me with reality.
Yeah.
So I was happy to watch this one.
Well, is there anything else then you want to talk about with this episode?
No, I think we kind of covered it. And like I said, I want to find out what happens with all these people. And I hope somebody... Is there anybody that, like, out of these people we followed, is there anyone that you think has the best chance of finding a relationship?
Oh, Anise.
Yeah, okay.
I think Anise, she's driven. Mm-hmm. She's a catch. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I think she's very close to finding someone.
Yeah. Yeah,
What
I
about
think
you?
so too. I would agree with that with Anise. I think she is probably the most like level-headed about all of this, and she just seems great. I don't know if she'll find somebody who's at her same level just because she's so amazing at like every aspect of life. So I hope she does, or like somebody who at least compliments her and balances her out. I don't know. I could see Suzanne eventually ending up like happy with somebody, but I think it'll take a while.
I think it's going to take a while.
Yeah. I think it'll take a couple different attempts to get her, back in the groove. But I could see her eventually being successful.
Right.
So we'll see.
We're not going to talk about acting quality because there was no acting in the show. This is reality, folks.
Well, and unlike other reality, like this is genuine. These are like real people. Again, like Housewives, they're acting. Like there's still an element of acting in some of those shows. But yeah, no, this was real.
So then
It felt very true to it.
I'm going to change it up here on the spot.
Oh, okay.
Instead of acting quality, for me, since you are a reality TV show expert,
Okay.
let's give it still an A to an F.
Okay.
How would the storytelling, the production value that Netflix has put into this, where would you grade this from A to an F?
Oh my gosh, you're putting me on the spot. That's such a hard question. So I guess it depends on what lens you want to look at this from. Like, I really enjoy the Love is Blind of it all, like those types of shows, because they're just like bonkers, and like the things people are saying and doing are just so crazy that like you can't believe it. Whereas a show like this or like Indian matchmaking, like there's still a little bit of like wildness, but it's pretty like real and true to life. So I don't know. To me, I would put this at maybe like a B-, just because it's not like the flashy, I don't know. It's not as like something I want to talk about with my friends immediately after, because it's like so bananas that we have to talk about it, if that makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, but it's still like good. Like I enjoy it and I think it's interesting, but it's not the same bonkers, like just what is this show?
Yes, I agree. But for that sense, again, as I've said several times already, I enjoy this aspect, and I like it when it's more organic. Mm-hmm. You're just following these people around, obviously selecting good clips and sound bites for it, but just letting the stories play out naturally. I love it.
Yeah.
And I think Netflix done a good job because it held our interest and held my interest at least.
Yeah.
And I was very interested in each of these people right away.
Yeah. And
their stories. And I would give this like a B+.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
All right.
You don't love the flash of Too Hot to Handle, Ultimatum, Love is Blind.
Definitely not.
Which is probably fine.
Okay, and then let's go to our rock rating. So this is our representation of color on the episode that we watched from 0 to 10. And for this one, I mean, we've got several people of our main characters that are people of color. And then we have Suzanne is white and Pam is white. So, I mean, I would get this like a 7 out of 10.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of representation. Yeah.
So-
And it's Atlanta, so
It's Atlanta.
you would hope that there was like more than just white people. Atlanta has a pretty diverse population.
I mean, would I love to see not elderly people, but people from this generation, from other races, and incorporating those backgrounds? Absolutely. Would love to see that.
Yeah.
Would love to see, I don't know, an old Indian person in there. Sure.
Yeah.
Love to see that.
Yeah.
But maybe that will happen.
Well, and that's the thing too, is if it's anything like Indian matchmaking, like they do bring more people in throughout the season, like who won't just follow these. So maybe, other people will probably pop in as well.
Right.
We'll see.
And if it's like Indian matchmaking too, like some of the people we watched today who seem like main characters may even just drop out.
Yeah, that's true. We might not
be
see them
following
again.
anymore.
Yeah. Okay. We'll find out.
We'll see. And finally, did you like it, Christy?
Yeah, I liked it. I'm gonna keep watching it after I finish my other current binge sessions that I'm doing right now. But I'm gonna come back to it. Okay. It'll be great. What about you?
Yes, loved it.
Yay!
I am probably gonna go back and watch this. Probably, rather soon, I think.
Yeah,
I'm
it'll go down quick.
Interested. And it goes on so well. My only problem is 40 minutes, a little bit longer than I would like for something like this.
Yeah.
But I am very interested in finding out what happens to all these people and what happens at the end.
Yeah.
Because I want them to find love.
Yeah.
I'm vested in their lives.
Once again, Netflix, you've done it. I'm telling you, I don't know if we're ever going to find a Netflix show that's not great. They're so good at producing good shows.
They really are.
This is not a Netflix stan account by any means, but like we just keep loving all the things that they're putting out. So keep it up.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. Remember to follow us on Spotify or wherever you're listening. And if you like what you hear, please rate us 5 stars. Also, make sure to follow us on Instagram at The Random Episode Pod. Finally, and most importantly, come back next week for our next random episode.
Bye.